Hey everybody, it's Kevin from the Burgundy Brigade here. Well, the NHL regular season is over, which means we get to now move into the best playoffs in all of professional sports, the Stanley Cup Playoffs. Now, hockey fans everywhere get excited about this. We also see a pretty big influx of casual or bandwagon fans coming in as well. Now, I'm not saying that with any type of negativity here. I'm not one of those that likes to look down their nose at the bandwagon fans. It's a fact of life in all sports with all fan bases. There is a bandwagon, and that's all well and good. Some of them are bigger, some of them are smaller. It's just a fact of life. But now is the time of year when people who usually don't give hockey a second's thought start noticing it. So it's also the time of year when there are some fans like myself whose team did not make the playoffs, and they try to often find themselves another team to attach themselves to during the playoffs in order to kind of keep themselves invested. So what I am here to do is I'm here to help for those fans who are looking for a bandwagon to jump on or looking for a temporary team to give their loyalty to for the playoffs. And this is a guide for fans to figure out which teams to cheer for going into the Stanley Cup playoffs. Now I'm going to break them down into different kinds of categories because there's different types of teams that are coming into the playoffs. Some of them are easier to root for, and some of them, frankly, it's really, really hard to root for. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with what I call the favorites. These are the ones who, when you look at if you've been following it for just a little bit, if you turn on NHL Network or go to the NHL.com, these are the teams that you're going to see the experts say will be most likely to make it to the Stanley Cup Finals, are the most likely to win it all. Fans are naturally attracted to these types of teams because, let's face it, even though we're not playing the game and have absolutely no impact on the outcome, we still like to be attached to a winner. So these are the favorites. Out of the West, you're going to see the Anaheim Ducks. Now, they've got really everything that there is to have in a team. They're big, they're strong, they're fast, they can score, they can play defense, and they're very deep. They're comfortable playing in a grind you down to a pulp type of game, or they're comfortable playing in a high speed, lots of skating, lots of skill, trading chances, shootout type of game. The only things that they really lack, the Ducks really lack, is really totally proven, battle-tested playoff goaltending. They have a good goalie, but he's not really been tested in the playoffs. They have to be considered one of the favorites coming out of the Western Conference, though. That being said, there's more to thinking about which team bandwagon to jump on than just how they did in the regular season and how the experts view them. There's a lot that goes into the character of the team. And with the Ducks, there is a pretty high D-bag factor on this team. You look at guys like Corey Perry, he's immensely skilled, but he's a giant douche. And let's not forget diving dynamo Ryan Kessler. There's plenty of attitude on this team to not like. You can even make the argument for head coach Bruce Boudreau, for him to be included in that to a specific extent. So if you're interested in teams that like to play bully, have lots of skills, or are usually the favorite, but still also usually find a way to not live up to expectations, then maybe the Ducks are for you. One of your other favorites has to be the New York Rangers. They're out of the Eastern Conference. Now, the Rangers are this year's President's Trophy winner for the season. And for those of you who aren't 100% in on all of the hockey knowledge or terminology, the President's Trophy goes to the team who has the most points in the standings during the regular season. Now, one would think that this might set up the Rangers to have a pretty smooth sail through the playoffs and right into the Stanley Cup Championship Series. But let's slow down a little bit here. The President's Trophy has been a bit of a curse ever since it started being awarded in the 1985-86 season. Only 8 teams that have won the President's Trophy during the regular season have gone on to win the Stanley Cup in the same season. That being said, with the Rangers, there's not really a lot to dislike. They don't have a real high D-bag factor. It's a classy organization with a lot of history, good players who do things the right way. They play hard, they play fast with a lot of skill, and there's not really much to dislike. About the only thing that I can really think of is that you might not want to cheer for them because of the way Martin St. Louis kind of whined and cried his way out of Tampa Bay, saying that he would only go to the Rangers and he would not play for anybody else. I can get that. I was kind of that way with them last season, but that was last season. It's a new year. It's a new thing. They're a skilled, fun-to-watch team, and they have one of the best goalies in the game with Henrik Lundqvist. So, I mean, if you're not afraid of curses, then maybe the President's Trophy won't keep you away from cheering for the Rangers and attaching yourself to that bandwagon, as they are one of the top favorites out of the Eastern Conference. Another favorite out of the Eastern Conference would have to be considered the Montreal Canadiens. Now, they're another team that is built for a deep run in the playoffs. They've got a lot of excellent skill throughout the lineup, and the most important thing that they have is Carey Price. Carey Price will most likely be the Vezina and possibly Hart Trophy winner for this season. And again, for those of you who are not 100% up on the hockey awards, the Vezina Trophy goes to the NHL's best goaltender through the regular season, and the Hart Trophy is the league most valuable player from the regular season. Now, again, this is a team that's hard to dislike. Now, there are a lot of people who dislike one of the Canadiens' best players, PK Subban, because he's very bombastic on the ice. He does a lot of big celebrations whenever he scores, and that sometimes rubs people the wrong way. They think he's a bit of a showboat. He's not much of a sportsman, that kind of thing. I just think he's having fun. He's amazing to watch, but hey, whatever. It's up to you. So if you're a type of person who likes a franchise that has the history, look no farther. Montreal has the most Stanley Cups of any team in the history of the NHL. So if you're looking to back a team who's got the history, who's got the pedigree, who's got some of the best players in the game, who has probably the best goalie in the NHL playoffs, then you might be wanting to attach yourself to the Montreal Canadiens.